Hi, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Marnie. We're two broke teachers who love to travel. Our years of experience traveling on a budget have given us insight into the best and most affordable ways to see the world. Now, we want to share our adventures and knowledge with you.
Follow along as we share tips, tricks, and hacks to help you travel the world without breaking the bank. This is Broke Teacher Travel Podcast.
Are you struggling to figure out what and how to pack for your next vacation? Don't worry, we've got you covered. We have tips, tricks, and hacks to help you pack for your next trip. Hi, I'm Marnie.
And I'm Jeff.
Welcome to Broke Teachers Travel Podcast. This is episode 10.
Oh, man, that's cool.
Yeah. What is the first thing you think people need to think about when packing?
Really where they're going, their destination. Sometimes if you're going to a tropical destination, more shorts, less, jeans and slacks. A colder area, slacks and jeans, less shorts, things like that.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's important.
And if you need some ideas of where you're going, remember we had episode 2, I think, where we covered that.
Yeah, we talked about picking a destination. So be sure to check that one out.
And where we're going is going to determine a lot of different factors, okay? So that's the big thing to keep in mind. Whether it's domestically, whether it's foreign travel, those things matter about what you're going to pack and how you're going to pack.
100%. It makes all the difference in the world in what you're choosing. One of the things that I suggest, and this is the most important thing to me, do not get stressed when you're packing. If you get stressed, you are going to forget something. That is the time that you are going to just draw a blank and forget the things you need. And you don't want to get to your destination and not have things, and then you're going to blow your budget because you're going to have to purchase extra items. So I think that's important.
That's true. We've mentioned this before. If you forget something, you didn't pack properly, it could cost you $40, $50, $60 for something that would have cost you $10, at Ross or Marshall or something like that.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that everyone travels a little bit differently. Some people might want to pack one backpack for a 14-day trip. That's kind of how I am. And then there's some people that I know that would like to pack 14 bags for a one-night trip. So, that's so you got to keep that in mind.
It happens.
It does.
One of the things I suggest is to bring extra charging cables. Believe it or not, they give out. You get shorts in them and then they stop working, or they may get wet somewhere if you're in the rain. Pack a couple of extra ones to have on hand, as well as chargers, because you want those electronic devices ready to go to take your pictures.
Yeah, in most scenarios, for me, I think the best way to travel is I like to travel with a backpack and at the most one carry-on. It stays with you the whole time, and it could really hold just about everything that you want, at least from a guy's perspective, I think.
They can. They absolutely can. Even from a woman's perspective, it's just all in how you pack it and folding things very neatly. And there are different methods for folding. Some people prefer to roll their clothes. I like to fold mine in like a filing system, and you can get enough in a carry-on. Trust me. I also think that you should probably bring an extra set of clothes and extra shoes. You're bound to either spill something, if you're like me, or get wet, or something might happen, and you're just going to want that security of having some backup items. But don't go overboard with that.
And one of the things, be realistic about where you're going. And this is something that just came to mind. So, again, a lot of this stuff is just off the cuff. If you're going to go somewhere like to Rome or some of the European cities and you're touring ruins and things like that, probably your sandals, or for women, those cute, there's like a bunch of different high heel kind of things that I've seen people, go out and on cobblestone streets and things like that. Now, some women can do that. Myself, I fell in the forum in a pair of Nike, so so you got to keep those kind of things in mind as well.
Yeah.
One of the other things is be sure that you check the size requirements for luggage, for carry-ons and things like that. If it's one bag, if it's a personal item, I know some require you to weigh it at the gate, and then some will not let you. They make you check the bag if it is over a certain diameter or circumference, radius.
Yes, some of the airlines are really strict on their requirements. And speaking of airlines and luggage, don't forget to purchase, if you haven't already, luggage tags. You want to be able to identify your luggage when you get it.
What was the thing that we did when we went to Europe and we had that bright green or bright pink?
Yeah, that's what I was about to talk about was the duct tape. That is actually a hack that you can do. You can put a piece of duct tape on somewhere on your luggage that you can spot it easily, and it helps you identify it from a distance. You know, if everyone else is crowding around the luggage carousel, just look for that duct tape and you're good to go. So just, you can wrap it on the handle or maybe put it on the side or something. It doesn't even have to be a big piece, just something large enough you can spot it, and try to make it unique.
And oftentimes, you know, I hate to say that there's unscrupulous people in the world, but sometimes people will accidentally pick up a bag. And if it's, you know, you've got the one with the bright pink duct tape or the bright fluorescent green, hey, can you check and make sure that's your bag? Oh, okay, well, I'm sorry. And then, you know, it does make that process a little quicker, a little, you know, safer, I think.
It does. Absolutely.
Remember, you know, something that I like to carry with me or take with me is, you know, a gallon bag or quart-size Ziploc bags for toiletries, for cord organizers, few sheets of paper, pens, things like that. Those are things that, you know, for packing, this probably should be my daughter on here who's the one that is the great packer, because she could pack for 14 days in a backpack.
Yeah.
So, but those are things that she always does a really good job. Or now that she's married and moved away, she's just going to have to come down before I travel again. And put them in individual Ziploc bags. Those Ziploc bags later on, especially the large ones, can be used for a lot of different things, like if your shoes get wet and you have to change out, or your socks get wet, things like that, so it doesn't mess up anything else. So.
And I personally prefer the freezer bags over the storage bags because they are sturdier, they're thicker, and they hold up a lot better. I really like those. Another thing to think about is, and we've said this before, but I want to reiterate it, an air tag or a tile to put in your luggage. That way, if they say it's been lost at the airport, or if someone accidentally grabs the wrong one, like Jeff said, it's easy to find. You just pull up that app on your phone, especially with an air tag, and it will give you a location, which is very, very helpful, because I have talked to lots of people that has saved them in the past at an airport when they said their luggage was lost and they would catch up. It would catch up with them later. It was actually still right there on the airplane, and all they had to do was get someone to run out and grab it, and then they had it back within minutes.
Another thing that I think about is making sure that you look at the TSA limits on everything, especially for liquids, because that does become a pretty big deal. I think it's 3.4
ounces.
3.4 ounces. So again, anything bigger than that, there's a good chance that they're going to make you pour it out, or just you're going to have to do away with. We had this heartbreaking deal coming back from DC, and I may have mentioned this in a previous cast, that one of our students had bought some, what was it, like honey or something for his grandmother, and you know, his parents were very careful, make sure we get the 3.4 going there, but also when you come back, especially if you go to places and you don't check it and you have stuff like wine or olive oil or things like that. So, you know, just keep that in mind, because I'd hate for you guys to get all the way through and you have to pour it out there.
Yeah, especially when it's a souvenir that you want to bring back. That is heartbreaking. Make sure you also take a picture of the inside and the outside of your luggage, all sides of it. Very, very important. That way, if anything happens to your luggage in transporting it, then it can easily be fixed. You can take that to the airlines and say, here, look, this is how I brought it in. This is what happened, and can you help me with this? And sometimes they're able to help you replace it if your luggage is damaged, especially if you have the proof. That's very, very important to them.
You know, cords, that's the big thing, you know, with all of our tech devices and things like that, making sure that we could put them in those Ziploc bags, to, you know, that our chargers, things like that as well. You know, I think that's pretty important to make sure that we have those.
Especially if it's like rainy weather, you don't want that stuff getting wet. They also make, though, they do make cord organizers that you can purchase, and they're like a little slim notebook. that you can store your cords in. It's really, really handy.
One thing that I would like to mention real quick here is I know one of the big fascinations, especially with young people and some older people too, is those AirPods. Just know that if you're in a plane and they fall down, you may not be able to get down there anytime soon and get them. Know that if you're climbing up, something or on, a public transportation and they fall out and, I would suggest that you have your earpods with the cord, so if they fall down, they're still attached to you.
Yeah, I think that's very good for traveling. Like I think I love the AirPods. They are great. I know they have the noise canceling features and you can filter out certain noises, and I love that feature. But like Jeff said, it is so important when you're traveling to have something on a cord that it can't go missing, because those things are not cheap. They're $200 a set, and don't get me wrong, they're worth it, but it's not worth having to replace them if you can simply use the corded ones for your trip.
Being a teacher, every day, nearly every single day somebody comes in a panic because they've lost one of them. And, that's in a classroom on a school grounds. Imagine if you're in a foreign country, on a plane, something like that. So.
Yeah, and you have nobody to say, hey,
right.
Where did it go? Can you help me with this?
Another thing is, have pens and paper, and some of those Ziploc bags we mentioned earlier have labels on them, and so you could write your stuff in there, especially if you're just packing in a backpack. One of the cool things, and one of my friends that I met on a tour, we were looking at, and I was looking for something in my bag, and I open it up, and it says, altitude medicine, headache, migraine medicine, cough medicine, whatever it was, and it was, again, kudos to my daughter for doing that, but it was reminiscent of a 1965-66 Batman movie where everything, I knew exactly what it was, but then, I knew what it was. I didn't have to fumble around too long to try to find it.
Yeah. Well, I think we're going to wind it up here for this episode. Thanks for hanging out with us for a little while. Now, stay tuned to the end of this podcast because we're doing a little celebratory giveaway and we have more information for you. Thanks for sticking around and good luck packing.
Hi everyone, my name is Jordan and I am with the Broke Teachers Travel Podcast. This week for episode 10, we will be giving away a cord organizer as well as a set of luggage tags. We are so incredibly excited for our first giveaway. In order to enter, make sure that you are subscribed to our channel, you like this episode, and you also make sure that you head over to our social media to complete entering the giveaway. Remember, break the monotony, not the bank.